Well, when I first started using Krita, it gave me a real hard time with the gradients. It did not work the way it used to work inside of Illustrator or Sketchbook Pro or Photoshop. I mean, I was really unhappy with their gradients. All the other things, they were really amazing. So I could not actually leave Krita. At the same time, I was so frustrated with their gradients. As you can see that their gradients have very jagged kind of lines. They have more gradient outlines inside of one gradient. If you go closer, they have these lines. Okay, so we do not really want that. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to talk about a beautiful technique and a very powerful and useful technique through which you can get rid of these lines. If you go closer and you just change the blend mode to overlay, you will see that these area, the gradients, they are not smooth enough, they are not even, they are not balanced. They have some other gradients inside of one gradient. As you can see, this portion was supposed to be lighter than this one, but then again, in between this lighter portion, there is also a dark line. In between these area, there are also dark lines, so this is not a very smooth kind of gradient, and we do not really want that, right? So I'm going to show you how to get rid of this. This tutorial is going to be very short, so without any further ado, let's jump into the video, guys. So the thing that you have to do is bring up any of your picture inside of Krita. So this is my painting inside of Krita, and now I'm going to use my final gradient on top of it. If you have seen my pictures, you always see that I tend to use some sort of gradient at the end of the picture. Okay, so when I'm done with all the things, I usually love to use another layer. Okay, so this is the paint layer 15. And now I'm going to use some sort of gradient on top of it. Okay, so firstly what I'm going to do, I'm going to select a gradient that I want. Okay, so I personally love this gradient and I have made it inside of Krita, so I'm going to use this one. I have a new layer over here, and what I'm going to do, bring up my gradient tool, and I'm simply going to drag it. So my gradient mode is linear, and I'm just going to drag it like this. Okay, I'm going to drag it like this, and I'm going to leave. So as you can see, they have very uneven kind of outlines. It's fine. At first it will look like this. That's completely fine. So we have this picture over here and the gradient on top of it. Now the next thing is going for our layer blend mode and make it overlay. As soon as I make that overlay, if you go closer, you see the gradient is breaking down into different segments. So we do not really want that, right? So what we are going to do is we are going for the filter. Okay, keeping the gradient layer as the current layer, you have to go for your filter, and then you go for the other option, and then you have to click on the random pick. Okay, the random pick. Now make sure that the levels are 100, and then the size of the window is also 100. Okay, and you hit on OK. So as you can see that your gradient, it has become completely smooth, but then again there are some random noise over here. So we can get rid of that one as well. How do we do that? Go to your transform tool, hit on this gradient, and just make the size bigger and remove the noisy area. Keep the noisy areas outside, and then you just hit on your selection tool. Okay, so we have this amazing gradient over here, but it is not breaking down. And that's what we wanted, right? So now the gradient works the similar way as it does inside of Illustrator or Sketchbook Pro. So I'm happy with the results, right? So I recently got to know about this technique. You know, I really love to do this gradient effect on top of each of my paintings, and Krita gave me such frustrating moments with the gradients earlier. So yeah, right now I'm using this technique, which is basically the filter I apply on top of my gradients, which is the random pick, and it solves my problem. So that's how I do it. So I hope you like this video. If you like this video, kindly subscribe my channel, share my videos with your friends. Have a nice day, everyone. Thanks for watching.